deep in the furnace of a dying star. Eons of fusion have created iron, and as the nuclear furnace is cooled, a sudden and violent explosion spread the iron across the cosmos. Over the next few billion years, these heavier elements accreted into this place that we call the Earth. Time passes, and humans discover this iron deep in the Earth and discover its mystical properties. They discover ways of forging this iron and create one of mankind's greatest inventions, the truck stop knife. This is where the story of iron ends, and my story begins. This is JJJinks Truck Stop Knives! JJJinks Truck Stop DINES! And I've got another meal to prepare for you with a very eclectic collection of knives. Let's go! Okay, so I got a pile of peeled potatoes. What's on the menu this week is chuck roast in a slow cooker with carrots and tomatoes, basically, and lots of spices and stuff like that. So I'm gonna start cutting these potatoes. I say potato, you say tomato. First knife I will feature is this guy. It is basically a Mora clone from Bud K. So it's an all plastic sheath. I'm sure I've talked about these before. There's a whole bunch of them. The only thing that's really different is the color and the stuff they print on the blade. And it's gonna be impossible to see that, but it's got that coiled up snake. It's supposed to say "Don't tread on me," but I actually got this during a special. They misprinted it, and it says "Don tread on me." And I was like, I'm not a tea partier or anything, but I gotta get it. And so it's got this kind of rubbery grip. Now, it ain't a Mora, but we'll see how it cuts. So, start off with this big one right here. Wow. You know, it's not doing very well. It's just potato, and it's like, oh, really struggling. I've noticed with these dull, shitty knives that they sort of wedge the food apart more than anything else. I gotta think about what I'm doing here. This is gonna be in like basically these are gonna be like stewed potatoes when they're done, so I don't wanna cut them too thin. Probably just, oh God, quarter this one. Might break this cutting board too. Okay, almost halfway done with one potato. It's not good at all. This is, you're definitely not going to be able to fillet a fish with this thing, that's for sure. Well, maybe you could. I guess fish are softer than potatoes, but I wouldn't recommend it. My assessment at this point would be get a better and safer knife. Wow. I'm really disappointed. I like collecting these. I was hoping that they would at least do something without having to rip these potatoes open. But alas, the knives will just kind of be in my collection and never come out with me for use. Not that very many of them do come out for use. I just have them in drawers and matches my cutting board. Well, I'm done with this knife. So, Don, if you're out there, tread on me. Okay, next up, this one's kind of a novelty. It's sort of basically a credit card knife. It's foldable and it's meant to fit in your wallet, about the size of a credit card. It's called the Cutter Card, ultra thin folding knife, stainless steel surgical blade. So after I'm done cutting these potatoes, I can cut out a spleen. Stainless steel surgical blade, built-in protective sheath, fits in wallet, pocket, camping kit, ultra thin and lightweight design. And here's a, for those of you who don't know, here's a picture of a wallet showing the card knife going in. Okay, these things were popular for a little while. Here's the plastic sheath. It's just like a little pouch thing. I actually forgot it was there. And I've seen a couple of people use this on YouTube. So the way it works is the blade is actually sort of on a fold, and there's a lock actually right here. So I got to rotate this little disc if I can. Okay, just kind of have to squeeze it. There we go. And so you see where these holes are, the blade's gonna flip. And on the other side, it sort of rests here, and then when you fold in these other parts, there's a snap to it that goes into this hole right there. Or it just flies apart on you if you don't get it. Yeah, I heard something. Oh, you know what? I gotta put this one down first because there are little holes on here that fit into the little pegs on here. There we go. And it's even got a little bit of jimping up here in the plastic. So there it is, the Cutter Card. Let's see if it's practical. Well, it's better than the Mora already, and I think, well, not the Mora, sorry, the Wahoo Killer. That's what Bud K calls it, the Wahoo Killer. That's part of the reason why I bought that to begin with. I liked the name, and they were like $2 or $3 each. So, I think by virtue of the fact that this blade is just really thin, that it just cuts things better, or it cuts potatoes better at least. It's very flimsy and wobbly. I have to be careful about where I am directing the force as I slice into these things, because yeah, that sideways motion, I don't know, it makes me a little uncomfortable, like it's gonna fall apart in my hand, which I had happen last time with another knife, so it's not inconceivable. And all right, that took a lot less time than the Wahoo Killer. It was a lot more, it was a lot smoother. So I guess it's sharp enough to cut potato, and it's thin. That's its strength, is that it's thin. But it is flimsy as hell. What do you expect? And then you just unsnap it. The blade goes back. You rotate the safety thing lock. Safety lock is not easy to actuate. Just gotta get it out there. All right, well, that's there a little bit. I'm gonna move on to the next potato and the next knife. So the next knife I chose is the Abaddon Fantasy Sickle. This thing, I bought it because it was cheap and it looked kind of neat. It's sort of got a Spider-Man look to it. It's sinister looking, like something you'd see from like a Diablo game, maybe. And I have no idea how I'm gonna actually use this to cut these potatoes. And it's not sharp at all. I mean, they ground an edge on it, but it is bloody huge. Okay, my first thing, maybe if I just kind of come down on it like this. Okay, I got it started. Maybe if I got it. I'll hammer it through with another potato. Yeah, how about that? Okay, so I'm not using it like a sickle, but I am using it, well, to successfully cut potatoes. Oh, that one didn't go very well at all. It's hard to guide it very well. Oh, I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't have something else to hammer it down on. Okay. If you are in a survival situation somewhere in hell, you can feed off of tubers. Good to know. And that took care of that potato. I could honestly probably like do the rest of them in quick order. But that wouldn't be as interesting as trying out the Timber Rattler Christmas knife, Christmas Bowie, or as my buddy Tristan calls it, the candy cane knife, or is it barber pole? Yes, this is one of those commemorative Christmas items that never sold on Bud K. It's got Merry Christmas written on the blade. It's dated back to 2015. It's not meant for use, but I'm going to use it anyway. It's just a display thing, and it's heavy. It's real heavy. The hilt, the palm, not pommel. This is the hilt, right? Yeah. Is a very dirty looking brass, and you can see there's like some kind of fouling up here, and it looks like just wood, and I don't know if that's plastic or made to look like bone, or maybe it actually is some kind of animal bone or a human bone or something. Maybe maybe it's haunted with the person who it was made from. Oh my God. Phew. Okay. Well, I was going to throw that piece away anyway because it's got a bunch of skin on it with that sprouting seed in it, but wow, I'm going to have to chop through this. Oh, okay, well. I'm going to eat this stuff. You know, I'm almost tempted to do what I did for the Abaddon sickle and just hammer it through the blade. And I don't want to machete this thing because last time I sort of broke the cutting board. And it's just so freaking heavy. It's hard to, it's just, it's unwieldy. These pieces are going to be very irregular. We cut. I'm trying to go slow. Oh, that was a little better. Oh, gee. It's unpredictable. Oh, it's like I gotta push real hard, and then once it starts to go, it goes. And it doesn't slice. Well, actually, that sliced okay. You just sort of like use its weight. Don't push too much, just enough to, you know, I don't know. I can't figure out how to control this thing. It's dangerous. Oh my gosh. And it's well, it's made for display. I knew this. Okay, last piece. It's fine, it's done. Oh man, all right, let me get the juices off of this thing. Starchy juice. Okay, it's been a real adventure. What I have next is a Timber Rattler. Timber Rattler makes a lot of really cheap, shitty knives for Bud K. That seems like a phrase that I use over and over and over again. Just putting the sheath back on my Abaddon sickle real quick. And I spotted this one, and I didn't know it was even real. I was like looking at the picture, and I was like, what am I looking at? That's amazing. I'm buying it. So I'm just gonna open it up and let you see for yourself. It is a folding knife. And it kind of makes you feel like you've shrunken to a smaller size. And yeah, it's a two-hander not liner lock. It's actually a lockback, and for some reason it's got like a scarab carved up here. I don't know why, but I think that's what it was called, the scarab. I don't know, giant scarab knife. It's very poor quality, but because like the blade is actually colliding with the side, and there's I don't know, and it looks like they've got like a layered wood pattern. Let's open it up. Satisfying. This blade kind of looks a lot like the previous one. Does it cut? No, not really. Maybe a little bit better, but again, it's so freaking big. But it's lighter though. It's a little more manageable in terms of, yeah, like I sliced that one far enough without destroying anything except for the potato. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I can kind of guide it down like that. Oh, okay. This has actually been one of the better cutting experiences so far. Oh. Yeah. These potatoes actually look okay. The little card knife kind of did better, I think, but I'm moving quite along with this. All right. I'm going to actually get these in the slow cooker before they yellow. And, well, those were all the knives that I dragged down. Well, I got everything in the pot, and it's cooking, and it smells great. So, I guess in that sense, we were successful. Of the knives that I tested, the one that kind of worked out the most for me was the credit card knife. It had a lot of things going for it. It was smaller than the others. And it was the thinness of the steel that made it work. And the biggest disappointment was the Wahoo Killer, because like I said, I like collecting those. They're cheap. They're just different colors, but I don't know. I like that style. I like that plastic sheath, and they're just good for nothing. Every day we learn new things in the knife world. This has been a JJJinks Truck Stop DINES.